Hey guys, this is Isanai, and I got a request from one of my subscribers for just a quick video about the macros I use and why I use them, as well as the add-ons that I use. I've been really tweaking my UI the last couple weeks, working with Gladius and a few other things, so I thought I'd wait till I kind of had that where I wanted it, and then I'd give you this video. So on the left side here, you'll see all the macros I use. These are all macros that I use. Pretty much all of my druids have the same one, except for a couple differences. This first one here is one I have bound to my mouse wheel, and it just lets me change between cat and bear form on one button. So I don't have to click an individual special key. I can just kind of go between the two, because that's usually what I end up doing. So I'm in cat form, I go to bear form back to cat. Travel form also goes into bear form. Any other form just goes straight into cat form, unless I'm in cat form and then I go to bear form. So this one is just for mangle and rake, just so I have them on the one button. So if I'm in bear form, it does mangle, or a cat form, it does rake. This one is for my trinket and my berserk. So because it's an on-use trinket, I like to kind of do those in conjunction, or do those together with my berserk, so that I get the most burst damage possible. And this trinket is Ricket's Magnetic Fireball. It's a Molten Front reward. It's got a nice hunk of agility and a on-use crit increase. And then I mostly like it just because it looks really cool. I'll just go ahead and show you what it looks like right now. So you can see the little fireballs going around me, and it does that throughout the duration of the on-use, and then it also will drop a meteor periodically on your target. This one here is one I just made. Again, it's just so I have one button for two different abilities and just have the conditionals set to form. This one is probably the most important macro that I have, and the best one, and the one I use the most frequently. And all it does is it sets charge and ravage on the same button, because I almost always use them together. But if I need to do a regular ravage, I can still do it with the same button. So for instance, I can stealth, walk up behind this dummy, and do a regular ravage, and miss, because I have no hit rating. Or I can also do my proc and do a regular stampeding ravage that way. This one's for my troll druid, similar to my on-use trinket one. It just procs, or it just activates my racial berserking along with regular berserk. This is a leftover that I don't use anymore. This one is my Focus Cyclone, this one's my Focus Hibernate, and Focus Skull Bash. And I'm still working with those and getting better slowly at using them efficiently. This is just so I can slash LOL at somebody. This is another one I use quite a lot. It's for Pounce and Fairy Fire. And I had it when I first started because I found that I wasn't consistently remembering to Fairy Fire my targets after I opened on them. So using those conditionals, I'll either Pounce or Fairy Fire, depending on my stealth. It does have a slight problem where, because of server lag, you may not be registered as in stealth when you push it, and you could end up breaking your stealth and Fairy Firing instead, which is really, really obnoxious. So if you're going to use something like this, just make sure that you've been in stealth for, say, like a second, so that the server has time to register your status as in stealth. This is the all-important Shadow Meld macro. It's just /sit and Shadow Meld. And that'll let you sit out any dots that you have on you without being broken out of stealth. So really, really useful for PvP. Again, this one does have a slight issue. I think it's probably a global cooldown thing, where occasionally if you don't push it just right, or you push it, say, in between a global cooldown or something, you'll occasionally just sit and not Shadow Meld. So you have to be kind of just do it and then don't do anything else for a minute so that it activates properly. This is just for focusing my target. Redundant, I know, because they're in keybinds, but that's one I made before I knew that. And then these three here are my finishing moves, and I've macroed, all I've done here is macroed Tiger's Fury in, because usually when I'm about to land a finisher, land a rip, or what have you, I'm a bit energy starved, and I want to put in that extra damage increase from Tiger's Fury into my finisher too. So I usually put them together, but I also have Tiger's Fury separate down here in case I need to use it separately. And that's about it for macros, so let me show you my add-ons. So right now I'm using Gladiator Losa, which is the verbal add-on you hear during my arena. It calls out cooldowns and basically any of my enemies' major cooldowns or abilities that I want to be aware of that they're doing or casting on me. So I know how to respond to that. Really, really useful. It's not so great in battleground settings because you get way too many call-outs from different abilities being cast from all over the battlefield. Pretty much anywhere where you could potentially know what somebody was casting, so it could be halfway across the battlefield. So it's distracting, but it's wonderful for arena or dueling situations, or maybe really sort of low-scale PvP, world PvP. I've also started using Move Anything, which I'm sure lots of you guys have used before, and it just lets you move, basically move any of the items on your interface around. So you'll see that I put my player nameplate and my target and my focus kind of more central to my screen, and then move my own buffs to be next to my own nameplate to kind of train myself to keep a closer eye on the center of my screen and not be looking off to the side all the time to check my own debuffs. So that's working out pretty well. It takes a little bit of retraining because I've been playing with the regular UI this entire time, but it's really great. Portrait timers is another one. You've probably seen those in my recent arena videos. And all it does is it puts the current CC or major cooldown of your enemy or anybody in your party anywhere where you have a raid nameplate or just a nameplate anywhere on your screen. It'll tell you what their cooldown is. Or what the CC is or their current cooldown. For instance, it'll give deterrence on a hunter. It'll tell me the duration of my pounce, things like that. So it's really good. Recount, of course, for tracking my DPS. And then I also use tidy plates, which you can see on these training dummies here. And it's pretty much just, it's a better version of the Blizzard's regular UI. And it also will show my combo points and the debuffs that I've applied to the target right over that nameplate as well. So it's really useful for PvP. So that's about it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time.